What innocent question that someone asked you crushed you a little. I went to get a haircut for my fiance's funeral. It was Friday. He had died on Tuesday. My stylist, all bubbly, said, "It's been a while. The last time I saw you, you were just about to move in with your boyfriend. How's it going?" The word stuck and I kind of rasped it out. Honestly though, her reaction was so wonderful. She was behind me and just put her hands firmly on my shoulders and looked me in the eyes in the mirror. No shock, no stupid platitudes, just silent, genuine empathy. The rest of the haircut was pretty quiet, but she did everything so, lovingly, and didn't make a big deal out of it when I cried a little. That is a beautiful, touching story. Thanks for sharing. A friend looked at me and said, "I know we've talked about it before, but how did you break your nose?" "I've never broken my nose, this is just how it looks." Whoa, Owen Wilson. What's on her face, mum? Little girl. I used to be a cashier and had terrible acne at the time. Had this happen to me a few times too. It hurts, but I know when kids say this it's from a place of curiosity. When elder people feel the need to point out my acne it hurts a lot more. Rough night last night, usually asked with a big smile. I was asked that all the time when I was younger, because I had a really obvious tremor. Thing is, I did not drink or do drugs at all and I had no idea what was wrong with me. I was eventually diagnosed with Graves' disease and treated for it, but I still have a bit of a tremor. I had hypothyroidism, then underwent radioactive iodine treatment and am now hypothyroid. My lips were often blue and I was always pale and cold with sunken looking eyes until we got my medicine on track. People asked me all the time if I was sick, because I looked like I was dying. Thyroid, it really freaks you up, and when you try to explain it, no one knows what a thyroid even is. Why don't you ever go out? Well, because I don't have anyone to go out with. Damn. Same. All of my friends are married, so being the single Pringle makes it hard to hang out with any of them anymore. My best friend flat out told me it's hard to include me in things, because I'm always the odd one out. I already knew that, but damn it hurt to actually hear it. I take my dogs out on walks. That's the extent of going out for me. Otherwise I'm a total hermit. I worked in retail when I was younger and people would always be like, "Oh, do you have any ideas for Father's Day? What did you get your dad?" My dad committed suicide when I was 16. They had no way of knowing that, but damn if it didn't hurt. I've lost both my parents now, but mum as a kid. Yes, I'd love to make a Mother's Day card in school a couple of months after she fricking died. Thanks. Frick. I always thought it was so fricked up to do Mother's Day stuff in school. I am so lucky with my parents. They are alive and awesome. But I had friends whose parents were itty, dead, and always felt so bad during those Mother's Day tributes. When I was 13 my mum got a divorce from a man who I can only refer to as a step monster. I worked all summer to save up money since we didn't have a lot and I was worried we wouldn't have enough to pay the bills. I ended up having a few dollars left over and wanted to buy my mum a gift, and she mentioned she needed a new watch for her birthday. I went to the jeweler and got a $100 Gold Citizen Evo Drive watch. It was functional and it looked really nice. When I gave it to her, her first response was, "Thanks honey, did it come in silver?" I was crushed. Insult to injury. She started dating a guy around the same time and he bought her a crappy silver watch. She ended up wearing his over mine. 18 years later and it still hurts when I think about it. As a mum I think what you did was so beautiful and I'm sorry your expectations weren't met. I love that you did that for your mum, and if I was your mum I would treasure that watch for the rest of my life. Hopefully one day your mom's eyes will open and she'll see that her children are the most important, most special people on earth. You're a good egg. Me too. I would have treasured that. That's huge and I'm sorry that happened to you. Not a question, but my 80-year-old niece once remarked, "You don't laugh anymore." My nephew once asked me, "Uncle Fuss Rohna son, why do you look so sad?" Like, damn kid. I was playing doctor with a 3-year-old girl once. I had been struggling with depression a lot lately at the time, so when she asked me what was wrong today I told her sometimes I just get sad. She had a clipboard with a sheet of square paper stickers on it. She nodded thoughtfully, scribbled something on her paper, then ripped off a sticker and stuck it to my shirt, saying, "Here's a duck for you. He'll make you happy." I still have that little pink duck sticker. I put it inside of my laptop, above the keyboard. He didn't cure it, but he does make me smile. The duck didn't spend 8 years at Happy-Go-Lucky Institute for you to drag him like that, edit. Guys, stop giving me medals. That doc is really a quack. How are you handling everything? My notary public, who also happens to be my boss's boss while notarizing my divorce paperwork. Completing a divorce packet with no help from an attorney can be a real pain in the ass, but at least it kept me focused on the bureaucratic bullet nonsense part of it rather than the fact that my 9-year marriage was ending. Turned out that as soon as someone asked me sincerely how I was doing, the answer was not at all well. I went back to my desk and had a panic attack. She gets half of that panic attack, you know? Mayo, I wish. That's the funniest, most fricked comment of my morning. Mum asked me, "Who are you?" when I visited her recently. She has dementia. I used to work in a nursing home. This family came to visit their mother, who had no idea who they were, didn't even remember having children. They had their visit, and as I helped her get back into her wheelchair, I had helped her on the couch so they could snuggle a bit to their mom. She had kinda paused mid-sentence, looked them in their faces and said, "Oh, my babies. I love you so much, honey," and then kinda snapped back into the dementia and kept on talking about other things. That one little glimpse of their mum had them sobbing so much. Last week, my son's therapist asked me how I was holding up with everything that has been happening, and if I was remembering to take time to care for myself while I was working on helping my son. I imagine she was thinking I would just give her my usual, "Oh, I am plugging along" response. Instead, I broke down and started sobbing and word vomited how bad it is and how hard a time I am having. And what a selfish piece of it I feel like for having the audacity to feel so bad when my son is having such a hard time. Not my best moment. Not my best moment. Wrong. I read the other replies to your post, and I have to say, you needed this possibility to just vent. You're under a lot of pressure from inside, and in my opinion it's a miracle you didn't just break down yet. I wish I could help you in any way, shape or form, but I'm just another random stranger on the web. Just try not to forget yourself over all this. There are many small ways to treat yourself nice. Just try to be in the moment every once in a while. Forget about everything for a few minutes. If you're religious, pray. Take your kids to the park for an hour or two. Pick up your favorite snack. Have a cup of tea. Read a book. Or just take 1 or 2 deep breaths. Just try to release a bit of the pressure you're under occasionally, so it can't build up. It won't make it all go away, but it will help you survive. And at the end, I'm sure there will be better times. I'm sending you a virtual hug. A wise meme I saw on Tumblr really stuck with me. Take it easy, but take it. Life will continue and unfortunately doesn't give you breaks. So live on, but do give it the thought it requires. Always remember that you cannot do the best for your children if you are not doing the best for you. A stressed out parent can only keep it up for so long. Make sure you take a moment to breath for yourself and your child. That is part of the problem. I have not really had a moment to breathe. I left my kids with my ex-husband, their father, for 3 hours on my birthday. I took myself to see a movie. It was a treat to myself. In that 3 hours, my ex was so awful to our son that our son went to school and told one of his teachers that his father makes him want to kill himself, and he has a plan to do it. Since that happened, I have been working on making sure my son feels safe, working with the school, his therapists, his doctor, to keep an ongoing safety plan, while also juggling a CPS investigation, and shielding my son from the horrible things his dad has been saying and doing since this all went down. Oh. And all of this while being told that I cannot tell my ex-husband that he is no longer welcome to come to my home to see our children, and having the CPS investigator and several police officers tell me that the kids and I are basically screwed, because my ex, his family, and his new girlfriend have money. So even with all this, If he felt like it, he could go to court and take the kids from me. So I need to mind my manners and know my place. I have not been sleeping. I can barely eat. I have lost about 10 pounds in the last 3 weeks. It is not great. But I have no outlet. So, this is it. How's your brother doing? Haven't seen him in a little while. He passed away 2 years ago. That wasn't very fun. There's an AOL in my neighborhood that asks about my deceased father sometimes. I really hope that man has dementia. Do you have dementia? I don't know. As someone who lost a brother in December 2017, some of his old buddies ask me this and I have to explain to them that he passed away. My 5-year-old cousin asked me where grandpa was when we were getting ready to head to his funeral. Everyone went silent and we just kind of stared at each other until my dad managed to distract her. It was brutal. My 5-year-old nephew did this to my grandma at my grandpa's funeral. Asked her, "Did grandpa die?" It was an innocent question and he was genuinely curious. And I guess no one had talked to him about it. My grandma hugged him and said, "Yes, sweetie, he died." In my experience with a 4.5-year-old, this approach is correct. Trying to say someone is sleeping and won't wake up is dangerous to the child's emotions. I told my son that his Mimi died. She was very old and she was ready to live with God in heaven. We are Catholic. Trying to say things like, "they went away" or "they went to sleep" I think can cause more harm than good. People, including young kids, want to be told the truth. In my opinion, the best approach is to be real with those who can at least somewhat grasp the concept. Absolutely right. We've seen this in sociology and psychological studies, not only with children, but with animals as well. The more baby talk and half-truths we give, then the slower a child's comprehension of the world develops. The best way to help our children develop strong, stable, healthy minds is to talk to them plainly and honestly. We don't have to deliver harsh truths, but hiding or sugarcoating the truth just makes things more difficult. He'll meet us there, kiddo.